about the Man City situation. So they have won their case, or they've won important parts of it. I know that's become a really big debate. In fairness, the tribunal is now asking both the Premier League and City to re-clarify their points. And that almost tells me that both have been a little bit disingenuous with their statements, which is mad. City are threatening more lawsuits. I see Arsenal and City fans online warring over this because Arsenal are one of the clubs that gave evidence against it. It feels like a mess right now, Hassam.
Listen, first of all, City media claiming this to be a City victory is the most fraudulent thing ever. Because 2 days ago, I'm looking through the news, I'm looking through the information. Every single City journalist and City content creator is talking about Man City won, Premier League nil. And then I actually go look at the report and City failed in 23 out of the 25 things. Logic dictates if you lost 23 cases out of 25 and won 2 of them, that does not mean that you were successful with your inquiries, if you would like. And listen, when I opened up the PDF file that was shared, it was just like challenge failed, challenge failed, challenge failed, challenge failed, challenge failed. I'm like, how are we spinning this as a City victory just because they won 2 claims out of 25? This just doesn't make any sense to me. And listen, City fans, big up Darmendra. And when it comes to City fans, listen, and Arsenal fans warring. Thing is with City fans is they just don't understand the perspective of the other teams around. They don't. They think it's jealousy and hatred and you're just jealous of our success. That's not the case. It's the way that you built your football club. It's the way that you got to that level. It's the fact that the associated party thing is very dangerous. I've explained this before on the Football Terrace and I'll explain it again. I'm from the Middle East. I understand what associated parties mean. If I start a YouTube channel tomorrow to compete with the Football Terrace and Footy Judge Mo and Don Hussam's channel, but my cousin sponsors me and my brother sponsors me and my uncle sponsors me and my aunt sponsors me, and they're pumping money in to the level where I can buy subscribers and buy live viewers and just promote my video, advert my video all over the internet, I'm going to get to the level where I overtake Terry, I overtake Mo, I overtake Hussam, I overtake all these people because of me having that money pumped in by the sponsors who are also my family. And this is the thing that people don't understand about the Middle East. I've told you this, guys, 100 times. In the Middle East, specifically the Gulf regions, there is no such thing as private companies. It's all owned by the government, meaning that the same family, cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, etc., all of them own different things in the country. So Etisalat is owned by a member of the royal family. The other stuff in the UAE is owned by a member of the royal family, etc., 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 etc. So all the money leads back to the same exact person, the royal family, the same people, the same entity. And this is where the problems lie. Meaning, right now, Hussam's Mugs is going to sponsor the Football Terrace for £10 per stream. But my cousin is gonna sponsor my channel with £50 per stream every time I show the smug. The difference is it might be 5 million more, 10 million more on each sponsorship, but if it adds up at the end, that's where the problems lie. Meaning, you make 5 million extra from one sponsorship, 10 million extra from the other sponsorship, 50 million extra from another sponsorship. By the time you add all the sponsorships up, you're up like 80, 90 million. And that 80, 90 million is 2-3 players in today's market. And this is where the issue lies. And listen, I'm not making stuff up. I can share a new tab right now. Manchester City official website. Look at the sponsors. It's not me making stuff up. It's not clickbait. It's not me hating on Man City. It's the reality. Give you an example that's non-Manchester City so people don't think that this is a pile-on or whatever. Josh Kroenke's wife, the Kroenkes, owns Walmart. If Walmart were to sponsor Arsenal tomorrow for 300 million per year, I'd have a problem with it. And I'd call it out. I am not going to be against my own people and against my own race. I'm not going to be against Arabs when I'm an Arab myself. I'm just talking about the direction that this league is headed in. Because people are too busy talking about Manchester City. The thing that people need to realize is there's another football club that wears black and white in the Northeast. If this associated parties thing is not continued, Newcastle will be dominating the crap out of the English Premier League, and it's over for all of us. I hope you guys know this. I'm not even joking. Mo lived in Saudi, he'll tell you. You see UAE money, Saudi money times 10. It's like they could spend 300 million per summer. That's the problem.
I don't think you understand the situation at all, Hassan. I think you understand the situation like completely wrong. Because what you said now is that you don't want Man City to be sponsored by anything in the Emirates. Is that what I'm understanding?
I never said that.
So what is your
Can you not
complaint?
do devil's
then?
advocate every stream?
I'm not. Can you stop and answer the questions without being rattled all the time because I'm trying to have a conversation with you?
No, you're not trying
Can
to
you
have a
stop?
conversation. You're trying
I am. Tell me what you just said. Okay,
I'm
hold
not
on.
going to answer your questions.
Don't answer. Don't. What Jose? Okay, so I'm just gonna speak on his behalf. What I understood, I'm gonna act like a regular viewer, and I'm gonna tell you what Hussam told us. If I'm a regular viewer now and I'm watching Hussam, this is what he said. He said Emirates will sponsor Man City with this amount of money. Saudi Arabia will sponsor them with this amount of money. So what do you want? You don't want them to be sponsored at all by anything related to the Gulf or the Emirates? The thing about it is that this associated transaction thing, I am not, right, with Manchester City getting sponsored £500 million. That is wrong. There has to be a fair market value. And that is from UEFA. The problem comes with when you're only applying the rules to the transactions related to the Gulf. When you're not applying the rules to any other transaction from any other part of the world, that is wrong.
Yeah,
that is what Man City are fighting.
I agree. Do you know what? I agree with that. And do you know what's interesting? I don't like the idea of I'm not even going to say the clubs everyone expects. I don't like the idea of Ineos sponsoring Man United's grass £1 billion a year. I look at that and think I don't see the market value in that personally.
Yes.
Although I've been listening to so many debates and conversations about this, and where I agree with Manchester City in this case is that, yes, they might have a shirt sponsor that wants to pay them 100 million a year, which is 30 million pounds a year more than, say, Man United. And you can make the argument, which is United have got more fans, they sell more shirts. So how can a club want to give City this? And the argument may be, well, the company that want to sponsor him, yes, there may be an association to the owner, fair enough, but they want to grow over the next 10 years. Man City have a 10-year plan, so in 10 years' time, they've got more fans. This airline, this computer company, this mobile phone network, I don't really care what they are. They have got ideals of being huge, and they want to be on the shirts or the arms or sponsor the stadium of a club they believe is going to be bigger than Man United in 5 years, bigger in 10 years, because they're going to keep winning and keep winning and keep winning. And they offer them that money. And I think that the rule, again, I don't like the ideas of the associated party transaction rule going, because I think City will treat the club. I think City's owners will treat City well. I've got a gut feeling that Newcastle's owners will treat them well. The problem that I have is you will get some owners that will go, yeah, we'll do this big sponsorship deal. You'll get some billionaire somewhere, I don't care where he's from, that goes, I'm going to pump an extra £1 billion into the club. We're going to go and buy Mbappe. We're going to go and buy Haaland. We're going to go and buy Trent from Liverpool and pay them all £1 million a week. And then maybe 2 years in, he goes, sod that. My company that's sponsoring him, sponsoring us, is now going to go bust and pull the money away. The club's then left with these huge financial debts on salaries, and the club could go out of business. We need to have checks and balances. However, I think we need to be far more open to the fact that not everything is Nike, not everything is Adidas, not everything is big brand names that we in the West have heard of. I think we have to be a lot more open to the idea. You think about when Qatar took over PSG, their whole thing was about not just being the owners of PSG, but it was about making Qatar this hub of sport, this desirable destination around the world for people to visit. And I always see on my television now adverts to go on holiday in Qatar. And I'll go back. I spent a month there. I absolutely loved it. It was great. And that's all part of the process. Now, that's a sponsorship deal that goes beyond anything that normal clubs prior to the multi-billionaires coming in have ever seen before. Because all other sponsorships have always been local, national. Some of them have been international, but they've been about a product growing, a computer company getting bigger, trainer brand or a sneaker brand getting bigger. Some of these sponsors are about countries attracting tens of millions of tourists a year, which financially you could argue is worth so much more money than selling trainers or selling phones, potentially, especially over the long term. So I do think that what's great about this case is it's opened up our eyes to a lot more. And I think with new information, we should change our stance. Where I do agree with you, Hussam, is I heard a journalist earlier on today say, well, you do win illegal. If someone's up for, his example was a journalist said on TalkSport, if somebody's up for 10 different murders, but you convict him of 2, he's still a murderer. And I'm like, see, that's where I'm going to call the legal bullshit out on this. If you're up on 25 charges, some of them are as serious as murder, some of them are as petty as jaywalking, and they get you on jaywalking and driving without a seatbelt, it doesn't mean the prosecution won, because they've got you on petty crimes that everybody, and that's why I think people have got to read these. That's why the tribunal have told both clubs, please give out more. I think both the club and the Premier League have been very clever with their words to make it sound like they're really happy and they got the resounding win they wanted. And I've heard a lot of people say they've proved the rule of APTs unlawful. No, they haven't. They've proved the elements of the process in that law were unlawful, but the law in itself is going to remain. And I think that football fans deserve the truth in this. So, look, I think it's absolutely right that clubs don't have ridiculous levels of sponsors, but I think we've got to be more broad-minded and more open-minded to the money that's coming in. You can't open up and become a global entity as the Premier League is, but then shut down other parts of the world from entering the clubhouse. And I think there has to be a balance in those things.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
can I
that's
just